Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another interview for our Lead the Way crowdfunding campaign. My name is Joseph Graham. I am in the south of England. I'm joined today with Judi Beecher, who is not in the south of England. She's in sunny America. And Judi has come on board with our immersive VR game. But before we get into that, could you just sort of tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, hello, I'm Judi Beecher. I'm an actress and a filmmaker and a singer-songwriter and a writer and a producer. Oh my God.
What don't you do?
What don't I do? I'm learning guitar. I don't yet play guitar. Yeah, so I work internationally. I work here in the States and I also work in Europe. Because I have dual nationality, so I can work anywhere in Europe. So I do that. I'm on a TV series in France. And yeah, that's what I can tell you in a very short few words.
So can you tell us a little bit about what this VR game is and what your role in it is?
So the VR game is the immersive world of Oberoende, which is the country which the main character of the film, Lead the Way, that's where he comes from. It's a made-up country, but it's where he's from, Oberoende. And the virtual reality game is going to have, it's VRISP with VRISM. So VRISP, it's virtual reality, I have to like, virtual reality immersive solution play. And VRISM is virtual reality immersive spatial museum. So the world that we go into when we go into the game is Oberoende. So it's the country where the main character comes from. And it's kind of it's a world of its own. It's a museum of a sort. And my character in the game will take you around this world. So I'll lead you around. I'm kind of like the tour guide of Oberoende.
And how did you sort of first get involved with the project?
Well, I've known Eugene for a long time, and we are working on other projects as well over the years. As an actress, I've been working with him on different movies and things like that.
Cool. We should say the game is still very much in production, but if anyone wants to help us out on the Indiegogo site, for $5 you can rent the game once it becomes available, and for $100 you can be in the game, if you so please. And so I suppose, Judi, for most people, you are probably best known for your role in another video game called Heavy Rain. Could you just sort of tell people who aren't aware what that was and who you were in that?
Sure. It was one of the first games. It was on PlayStation. I played the role of Madison Page, which was the lead character in that game, and it was you felt like you were going into that. You were your character, you know, when you become the character, you're in a real space. It was like a movie. Like you felt like you were really there. And you had a choice every scene had 5 different endings. So it was like a movie. It was like a 20-hour movie, because I'm a movie actress. So it was like a 20-hour movie. And you could choose whether the character was going to lie or tell the truth, or fall in love, or get angry, whatever. You chose the emotion. So each scene that we did had to be shot 5 different times in different ways. So it was really interesting. And it was made with motion capture, body and facial motion capture. I did the facial motion capture and the voice work on it. And so it was very cool. And everything had to be memorized because you couldn't read. Like in a normal voiceover, you do the character and you read it because your facial motion capture is not being recorded. But with this game, because you're looking up and you're acting out the scene as if it was a theater piece, it had to be memorized like a theater, except you're acting with no one when you're actually doing it. And so it was really fun to do. It was very challenging to do because there was like 150 pages of dialogue, just my own dialogue that had to be memorized. But it was really fun. It was a really fun project to work on. And I know a lot of people really love the game.
Yeah, I mean, it's just amazing reception. Actually, sticking with the motion capture side of it, I am, for people who don't know me, I am at university here in England, and I put a shout out on our university group chat earlier today for anyone who was interested to ask you a question virtually. And a friend of mine, Alex, was very interested to know about the motion capture side of everything, about and sort of how that sort of influences your acting choices and everything to do with that.
Well, with motion capture, you have little dots all over. They put these little dots all over your face. So, for me, it had to be. I'm an actor, so it had to be as realistic as possible. So I was playing the part with an imaginary partner. And you had captures, all over the room where I was in. It was a dark room and with the little captures all over. And the director was in a little booth over there. And I was acting with him. He was reading the other parts with me. But I had to act this way, out this way, because all the cameras were all around me. So he's saying the thing, and I had to kind of see my partner, whoever it is that I'm in the scene with, and really be real, but yet I'm not, and, sometimes you got to see part of the video of it, and most of the time not. So it was hard. It was hard to do, but it was, now that I've done that, I was like, well, I can do anything. If I could do that, I could do anything. It's a good, confidence booster.
Yeah, and were you surprised by the strong reception that the game had initially?
It was wonderful. I mean, it was really like the hottest game out there for a while.
So you said you are predominantly a more film and TV based actress. So how did that sort of first come about that you got involved with video game and motion capture role?
It was very strange because I had never done anything like that. And they were actually recasting, because the Jackie Ansley, who did the body, it was her picture in the motion capture. She was a model, not an actor. So they wanted someone who could act to play to be her, to be the role. So I was actually in France at the time. So I auditioned through my agent in France and booked it.
And so did they put your head motion capture on her body motion capture?
Yeah, so they used all of my facial features, my facial movements, expressions, and hers, it was her body movements. And I think they had a third person as well that did some of the body as well. That's some of the stunt things.
Wow. So as we were just saying, you are also a film and TV actor. Mm-hmm. I believe you have a new movie coming out soon called Tango Shalom, was it?
Yes, Tango Shalom. Yeah, it was produced by Joel Zwick, who did My Big Fat Greek Wedding. And it's doing the festival run right now and winning a lot of awards. It hasn't yet come out where we can all watch it. but yeah, it's really fun, and it goes really against, you know, what I've played before. I play a Hasidic rabbi's wife in it. So, and it's about a rabbi, a Hasidic rabbi who's having financial problems, who gets a calling to dance the tango. God tells him he has to dance the tango to resolve his problems, but he can't touch a woman that's not his wife because it's against the religion. So he has to go to all the other religions to ask for help. What should he do? So it's about bringing cultures together and people together, and showing how we're all alike.
Did you have to do any dancing for that?
Yes, a little bit. I wasn't. So there was Karina Smirnoff did the dancing. She's in Dancing with the Stars. So she played the dance instructor. I was his wife who didn't want him to dance. So I wore a wig and no makeup, and I was, and so yes, so we dance a little bit at the end, he and I, in a cute kind of way. I was not the tango dancer though.
And was that all produced pre-pandemic?
Oh yes. Oh yes. We wouldn't have been able to do it during the pandemic.
Yeah, you have to find a way to dance while remaining 2 meters apart.
Yeah. Yeah.
So you were also a director and a producer and just a filmmaker in general. What sort of projects have you made yourself?
I produced and acted in a few shorts. I directed a short, Only in Paris, which won a whole bunch of awards, a romantic comedy that I got Best Actress for, and Best Film and Best Romantic Comedy. I did another film, The Can. I had won a little competition in Cannes, and I had to shoot a film during the festival, The Can. And I'm directing a documentary right now. The working title is Run Runya, The Kindness of Strangers. And it's about my mom, who was a hidden child during the Holocaust. And she escaped by herself when she was 6.5 years old across the French-Swiss border to freedom. So I'm been working on that now and doing a crowdfunding myself on it to continue on. It's a long journey.
Wow. You said you directed a short film. Did you also act in that one as well?
The other short film, that was The Can. It was we shot it during the festival, and during the festival you never sleep. So I decided I didn't want to. I had written it for myself, like I always write for myself to be in it, but I was like, gosh, do I really want to like worry about having bags under my eyes because I didn't sleep the night before? So I decided to make it from my POV. So throughout the whole thing, you never see me, you hear me, and at the very end, you see me, and you see what had happened. And then I've also just written a play. It's a short play on social justice, and it was chosen to. It's going to be performed in June, actually, by the Town Street Theater Company online. It'll be on a live performance on Zoom in Los Angeles. It's the first #1 African American theater company. So it's a short play about social justice and racism. And again, because I'm like, this is very close to my heart, is that people start to see each other as people, you know, not as whatever, color, race, religion, you know, disability, this, that, you know, that people are people. So it's my first play that I wrote. It's the first play I wrote, #1, and it's also the first piece I wrote that I don't act in. It just kind of came through me. So I was very excited about that.
A lot of different irons in different fires, it seems.
Yeah.
Is it different? Right, I've never written a play before. Is it different writing a play to a short film or anything else?
I started doing. I started doing play. I was in over the pandemic, I was in a script writing, reading group. And normally I write stuff for, I write things for the film medium. But this was basically it was a theater play reading group. So I kind of would take whatever I wrote and I would make it into a play version of it. It might have been written as a web series. It might have been written I wrote it as a short. There's something that I'm working on that I'm also shooting that it's more of a short web series. But I do it as a play. So that she said, okay, next play reading we're doing is going to be on social justice. Go. I was like, okay. And I meditated. When I write, I get into a meditative state when I write, and then it just comes through me. So I write books as well. Spiritual, like channeled books of spiritual success, and it just comes through me. There's no thought. The whole thing, I just wrote the whole thing in a couple minutes. Yeah.
You think you'd ever be interested in writing a video game?
A video game? Who knows? I write songs as well, like the same way. Who knows, And I'm doing a film as well right this second. We're writing another film we're going to shoot next week, because my uncle just died during the pandemic. Thank you. And he lived in my grandparents' house, which was all 1950s, like their style. He never changed it. It was like 1950 to 70s, all furniture and the wallpaper. And it's like a complete set of a 1950s house. So we were shooting something for the documentary there. And the DP said, we have 2 weeks. Let's write something before the house was sold already. So we want to try to shoot a really fun short film in there that takes place in the 1950s. So that's what we're working on right now. We wrote it already, and the last few days, and we're going to shoot it.
Well, best of luck with all of that. You mentioned before we started recording this that you've been working on a French television series, I believe.
Yeah. So I was on a show called La Garçonne, Boyish, which is a period piece. It took place in 1919. And it's the producers of, I don't know if you've heard of Call My Agent. The show.
Is that a Netflix show?
It's about a agency, like a talent agency in France. So it's the same producers that did this, but this takes place in 1919, right after World War I, and it's about a girl who pretends to be a guy. She pretends to be her brother to solve like who murdered her father, and she goes into the police department and she pretends to be a guy, and I play kind of a Marlene. It's opposite of my Tango Shalom character. I'm like a Marlene Dietrich type of character who very wealthy American bisexual who throws these. The series kind of revolves around my house, like where I throw these crazy parties, political parties. So it's an interesting part. It was really fun to play.
And was that also filmed pre-pandemic?
Right, pre-pandemic. So I was in France finishing like the voice part of it in February. And then the pandemic hit it was right there. I flew from there to LA, came back to New York, and boom, lockdown. Wow. So I was traveling a lot right before.
Wow.
Yeah, and it came out in September, the series.
And are there plans for a second series?
I don't know. I'm not going to say anything, but I'm up for something now there as well. So I'm not going to say anything, but just.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
And then just I think the other thing that kind of screams out from your very impressive resume is you had a role in Taken 3, I believe.
Yes, I was. Yes, I did. I was in Taken 3. That was really fun to shoot. I actually shot it in France because Taken 3 we shot in 3 different countries. So all pretending to be the United States. So for tax reasons. But yes, I did. I was in Taken 3 and it was very fun to be in.
Wonderful. I think that was all the questions I had to ask you here today. I think we should just finish by just reminding people about the VR game, which is as a companion piece, I think, to the film Lead the Way. As we said, the VR game Judi will be in when it's eventually comes out and is made. And so if you want to help support that, then you can go to our Indiegogo page and donate how much money you can. $5 will get you will let you rent the game when it is eventually comes out, and if you want to be in the game, that's one of our $100 perks. So Judi Beecher, thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see everyone next time.
Please support us.